Hey guys, this is Kendra with Signing Agent Basics. So good to see you guys. I had a lot going on last month, June of 2023. So I wasn't able to schedule in a live last month, and it seems like it's been forever since I have seen you guys, but I am back today with some information that will hopefully help you to make your signing agent business the best that it absolutely can be. I know a lot of new signing agents, when they get into this business, honestly have no idea how things work. And they tend to think that every loan signing is prepped and prepared way in advance, and that everything is going to run smoothly, and that you're never going to run into any problems when that's not true. Loan signings are sometimes scheduled at the last minute. Information that you think should have been given to signers may not have been given to signers, and a lot of other things could happen that can possibly cause difficulties during loan signings. Now, of course, none of these difficulties are the end of the world. All of these difficulties do get worked out, and the signings generally do end up happening. But if you are new and if you get hit with one of these difficulties, which you probably will be, the first couple of times this happens, you will probably feel like a deer in the headlights, like, what's going on? What's happening? Why is this happening? And how do I deal with it? So that's why I wanted to come and hang out with you guys today on this live. Today, guys, I'm going to be talking to you about how to handle difficult loan signings. In particular, I'm going to go over the most common difficulties that you are going to face as a signing agent. You're going to face these as a new signing agent. You're going to continue to face these as a signing agent throughout your career. Now, obviously, the more you run into these things, the better you're going to be about handling it. But what I want to do is give you guys the information that you need to be able to handle these difficulties well from the very beginning. So, guys, you know the drill though. Please do me a favor. Whether you are watching this video live or whether you are watching it on the replay, please go ahead, hit that like button. Let me know that you like this video. Let me know that you let YouTube know that you like this video. Hit the subscribe button. Again, guys, I come live pretty much every month. Every now and again, I miss a month, but I come out and do a live video training just about every month. And I promise you guys, you do not want to miss those. You definitely want to watch these training videos live if at all possible, because I always have a Q&A session at the end. So if you want me to be able to answer your questions live, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you can see when I go live, so that you can be here as well. And then make sure that you hit that notification bell so that YouTube notifies you when I am going to go live. Now, always, guys, y'all know I am interested in knowing more about you. So if you will do me a favor, again, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this on the replay, go down into the chat, go down into the comment section, and let me know what city and state you are from. Again, my help, my training, my mentoring is for signing agents all across the country. So let me know what city and state you are in. Then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent. That means that you have not done any loan signings. Let me know if you are a new signing agent, meaning you've been doing this signing agent thing for less than a year. And let me know if you are a veteran signing agent, meaning that you've been a signing agent for more than a year. So again, let me know what city and state you are from, and then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. And then, guys, I need y'all to do me a little favor. I need y'all to help me out. There's always people who jump in on the live about halfway through and they're concerned because they've missed about half of it. And they always want to know, will the replay be available? Yes, the replay will be available immediately after this live stream. So if you guys happen to see somebody jump in and ask if the replay will be available, do me a favor, let them know. Yes, the replay will be available immediately after the live stream. So let's see who we've got going on here. We've got folks here from Miami Shores, Florida. We've got folks here from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm originally from Jacksonville. That's awesome. We've got folks here from Fort Worth, Chicago, Panama City. We've got some aspiring signing agents. Tanya's an aspiring signing agent. Coleman Enterprises haven't done any signings yet, so they are aspiring signing agents. We've got folks from Philadelphia, folks from Virginia, new signing agents. Again, folks who have not done signings yet, that's okay. You guys know I'm here to help you guys out. We've got Rod. He's one of my students. He is here from Portland. We've got all kinds of folks, guys. So again, continue as you are coming in, whether you are watching live or whether you are watching on the replay. Let me know in the chat or in the comment section what city and state you are from and whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. It's a good mix in here. I see we've got some aspiring folks, we got some new folks, and we got some veteran folks. So as always, guys, good to see you all. And as a reminder, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the video. Guys, if you can, do me a favor, try to hold your questions until the end. It's kind of hard for me sometimes to keep up with questions as I'm going through the training and the presentation, and I don't want to miss any of y'all's questions. So if you can, please try to hold your questions to the end. And while I will answer pretty much every question that you guys ask, try to stay on topic if at all possible. And then keep in mind, guys, depending on how many questions there are, I may not be able to answer all of the questions during the video. If that's the case, though, I will go back after the video sometime over the next couple of days and answer all of the questions that I see. I see another one of my students is in the house. Good to see you guys. My students also are going to get a private Q&A session about all kinds of topics here in just a little bit. So they must want Kendra Overload. They're watching the YouTube live, and hopefully they're going to also be in our student Q&A session. Now, guys, the description box of the video. But then people always ask me, where the heck is the description box? Because I'm going to be talking about the description box a lot. So if you are watching this on your laptop or desktop computer, when you look underneath the video, you're going to see the title of the video and then kind of some stuff that I've written to you. And then you will see the words show more. You will want to click on the words show more. Now, if you're watching this on your cell phone or your mobile device, because that's what most of us do nowadays, right? You are going to look underneath the title. You're going to click the word more. A little bit more information is going to open up. You're going to click the word more again. And then whether you're watching this on your laptop or desktop computer or your mobile device, once you hit show more or once you hit more a couple of times, then the description box is going to open up. And you're going to see all kinds of stuff that I have linked for you down in the description box. But that is where the description box is. And as always, guys, I've got a copy of my free new signing agent checklist down in the description box. If you are a new or an aspiring signing agent, then you absolutely want to download this checklist. One of the biggest questions that people always have is, what do I need to do to get started? What are the steps? What do I need to have? What do I need to put in place? This checklist tells you everything that you need. It is literally a checklist. So as you get everything, you can check it off. And then there are also links in that checklist that you can click on to take you to get even more information. So if you have not previously downloaded that checklist, make sure that you do that today. All righty, guys. So now, all that intro stuff is done. We are going to get into the heart of this video and this training. And again, This training and this video is about how to handle difficult situations that you will run into when you are doing loan signings. Now, one of the things that I want to say is I'm calling them difficult situations. They're really not difficult. They're just things that you have not run into before. And they're things that maybe you were not expecting. Because again, as a new signing agent, I know a lot of new signing agents just think that everything has been prepped ahead of time, that the signers are aware of everything, and that there won't be any questions or problems at the table. But the reality is that is not the case. Now, doing loan signings is not hard. At the end of the day, our job is to make sure all of the documents are signed, dated, and notarized properly. But while loan signings aren't hard, you will run into issues. Again, I don't care if you're new, I don't care if you're a veteran of 15, 20 years like myself, you will run into issues. I had a few signings just a day or so ago that ran into issues. One, I get there and the signers don't speak English. They spoke Spanish. I speak English. So that was an issue that had to be overcome. On that very same day, on a different signing, get to the signing and the signer goes, that's the wrong address for this property. Okay. So again, if you were new, if those kind of things happen, it might freak you out. Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? How do I handle this? So we're going to talk about these different issues and how I handle these issues to keep everything as stress-free as possible. Now, another thing I want to remind you guys about, how you handle issues will make or break your business. Because here's the thing, again, it's not if you are going to run into issues, it is when you run into issues. Because I promise you, you will absolutely run into issues with loan signings. And if anything, when you're a new signing agent, I find that you tend to run into issues more. New signing agents tend to get last minute signings. They tend to get the signings that have gotten pushed back or rescheduled because it had issues. So new signing agents tend to get more signings with issues than veteran signing agents. So you are absolutely going to run into issues. Now, companies appreciate and they love working with signing agents who can calmly and efficiently navigate those issues. Because again, guys, the issues are going to happen. So, what's going to set you apart from other signing agents is how you handle it when those issues happen. Signing agents who help and don't compound issues or who don't make issues worse are the signing agents who are sought after. And this is one of these times and one of these things, guys, where you're going to have to kind of use your brain to help come up with solutions. You want to help come up with solutions. You do not want to add another problem on top of the problem that is already existing with the signing. So, an example of that may be, maybe the signer is kind of freaking out a little bit because they feel like there's something incorrect on the documents. Are you staying calm? Are you helping to calm the signer down and letting them know that everything is going to be okay? Or are you freaking out with them like, oh my God, I can't believe they got your documents wrong. This is a problem. What are we going to do? Now it's two of y'all freaking out, causing problems. Trust me, the lender, the title company, if there's a real estate agent, none of those people are going to be happy if you make the issue worse. And then some of the issues that you are going to run into are going to be companies asking you to do things that are either illegal or improper. Do you know when to say no to these types of requests? And do you know how to say no to these types of requests? Because again, guys, I promise you, it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. You will, at some point, be asked to do something that is illegal or improper. So, no matter what the issue is, no matter what the difficulty is, there are some steps that you are going to need to take no matter what. The first step, this is my favorite step. This is the first step that I tell any of my students when they message me freaking out about something that's going on with a signing. The very first step is to stay calm. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I had to work on this. Okay. This was something I had to work on, and this is something that I had to improve upon. But the reality is getting agitated, becoming flustered, raising your voice, getting upset with the signer or the lender or the title company or the real estate agent, none of those things are going to help the situation. If anything, it's going to make it worse. When you're not calm, it's hard to think clearly. So the first step is always going to be to stay calm. No matter what the issue is, no matter how much the other people in the room are freaking out, stay calm. Okay. The next thing that you're going to want to do is ask clarifying questions. Sometimes signers are freaking out over something, okay? And they're starting to freak out a little bit. And honestly, you don't even really know exactly what it is they're freaking out about. You think you know, but because they don't do mortgage transactions very often, the way that they're trying to explain to you what the problem is may be a little confusing. And what a lot of people do is they don't really ask clarifying questions. They see that the signer is freaking out and they just jump to try to answer this question. But a lot of times you end up answering the question wrong because you haven't gotten enough information from the signer to find out what the real problem is. So don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions. Be sure that you know exactly what the question or the issue is before you try to fix it or before you try to reach out for assistance. And again, remember, one of the difficulties, one of the issues that you're going to run into is people and companies trying to get you to do something that is either illegal or improper. So you need to remember to never let anyone pressure you into doing anything illegal or improper, or letting someone pressure you into being in a position where you feel unsafe. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, why would the lender or the title company or the real estate agent ask me to do something illegal? Well, it's because they don't know notary law. That's really what it is. It's not their job to know notary law. You are the commissioned notary. It is your job to know what the law is in your state. The lender, the title company, whomever may not even realize that what they're asking you to do is illegal. So, one of the biggest examples that I give here in the state of Texas for ID, the person's identification has to be federal or government issued. So, that's the first thing. It has to be current, it has to have a photograph, and it has to have a signature. So we have to have those four items. The ID has to have those four items in order for me to accept it as ID. If an ID does not have all four items and I accept that ID, that is illegal. That is against the law. So, for example, there are some federal and government issued IDs that are current and have a photograph, but they do not have a signature. And remember, a signature is also required on ID in the state of Texas, notary law. So if I accept that ID, I am literally breaking the law. And the thing is, guys, you can't say the lender told me to do it, the title company told me to do it, the real estate agent, it does not matter. Your job as a notary public is to follow notary law. And you cannot let people or entities pressure you into breaking the law, because the only person who's going to get in trouble if you break the law is you. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. I like you guys. I want y'all to stay outside of jail. So let's talk about some of the most common loan signing difficulties that you are going to see as a signing agent. And again, the first type of difficulty, the most common difficulty that you are going to have is going to be notarization difficulties. Notarization difficulties include being asked to break your state notary law by, again, accepting ID that is not allowed in your state. That is probably the most common issue that I run into. A lender or a title company saying it's okay for you to accept this type of ID. But again, your lender does not write the notary law for your state. The title company does not write the notary law for your state. Your state writes the notary law. And again, when you accept your commission as a notary, you are saying that you understand the law for notaries and that you are going to follow the law. So, to give you an example, let's say you're running late to a loan signing and the lender gets on the phone and says, I need you to be on time. So I need you to drive 120 miles an hour to make sure that you get to that loan signing on time. And of course, you get pulled over by the police because going 120 miles an hour is against the law. When that police officer pulls you over, can you say, oh, well, I'm trying to get to a loan signing, and the lender said that since I'm trying to get to their loan signing, it is okay for me to speed. It's okay for me to break the law. Does anybody think that the police are going to say, oh, that's no problem, then it's perfectly fine for you to go 120 miles an hour? No. They are going to say, I don't care who your lender is. I don't care who told you it was okay to go 120 miles an hour. It's against the law. Here's your ticket. Or because you're going so fast, you may get taken straight to jail. So again, it is the same thing with ID. It does not matter what the lender says. It does not matter what the title company says. The only thing that matters is what your state notary law says. And again, you have to first know your state notary law in order to be able to follow it. And then you got to follow it. And again, I don't think a lot of these lenders and title companies are telling you this purposely thinking that they're breaking the law. Because think about it, ID requirements are different in every state. In Texas, it has to be federal or government issued, current, photo, and a signature. But there are other states that don't have that signature requirement. So there are other states that even if it doesn't have the signature, it's still okay. So that lender may be familiar with the notary law in a different state. And that's great in that state. But again, it's illegal in your state. So first and foremost, guys, make sure that you know your notary law when it comes to ID. The next notarization difficulty you're going to run into is being asked to notarize documents for someone who does not appear before you. Again, as a notary public, in order to be compliant with the law, anyone that you are notarizing a document for has to be standing physically in front of you, unless you're doing remote online notarization. That's a totally different thing. But we're talking about in-person notarizations. So you cannot notarize a document for someone who is not standing in front of you. You also cannot notarize a document for someone if you cannot clearly tell whether or not they are signing the document willingly. So this is why it is not a good idea to do signings for people that you cannot communicate with directly. So for example, the customers the other day that I had, it was a husband and a wife. The husband spoke English and Spanish. The wife only spoke Spanish. So people are like, well, why couldn't the husband just translate for the wife? Well, because I don't know what the husband is saying to the wife. And I don't know what the wife is really saying back. He could not be translating what I'm saying, and he could literally be threatening her to sign these documents. He could be telling her that she's got to sign these documents or he's going to do something mean to her. You know, she may be signing these documents unwillingly, but because I can't communicate with her directly, I have no idea. So you always want to make sure that you can tell whether or not someone is signing a document willingly. Another difficulty that you're going to run into is people and entities trying to get you to either predate or post-date your notary certificates. What does that mean? When you're doing a notarization, the date in your notary certificate needs to be the actual day that it is. It can't be yesterday. It can't be tomorrow. It has to be the actual day. And you will have people and entities ask you to predate or post-date. That is incorrect. And then the other thing is not using the correct notary certificate. And again, guys, this is why it's so important for you to know your state notary law. Your state has specific requirements for your notary certificates. If the certificate that is on that document, if it is not compliant with your state notary law, then that needs to be corrected. And it's your job as the notary to correct it. So how do we handle these different difficulties? Again, first and foremost, learn your state notary law. follow your state notary law. Your Secretary of State or Department of State website will have your state notary law listed. You can probably also get a state notary law primer that basically gives you like the cliff notes on the notary law for your state. You need to learn it and follow it. And then the way I handle improper requests is I point out in my state notary law how the request is against the law. So like, let's say the lender says, hey, you can accept this particular ID. I can pull out my notary handbook, my notary law primer, turn it to the page, point to it and say, I would love to, but look, it says right here in the law that I cannot. And if I do what you're asking me to do, then I will be breaking the law and I cannot. So I don't blame it on me. I blame it on the law, right? And then the next thing that you need to do is just say no. Now, this is really hard for a lot of new signing agents, but you have to just say no. Just like in the example, guys, of driving 120 miles an hour to get to a loan signing, when you get pulled over by the police, it's not going to be okay. Nothing the lender says, nothing the title company says can make it okay for you to break the law. It is the same thing when it comes to notary law. You just have to say no. So then the next thing I always hear from new signing agents is, well, are they going to get mad at me? Are they going to stop sending me business? Will they get mad at you? Probably. I'm just going to let you know now. I don't want to fluff you. I don't want to bluff you. Will they get upset with you? They very probably will get upset. I will say this, though. I have had no quality company, no respectable company, no good company not send me more business because I refuse to break the notary law. Of course, they weren't happy on that particular signing. But again, they understood because I could show them that what they were asking me to do was breaking the law. So yeah, you may not be their favorite person that day. They're not going to be happy with you. But again, I would rather stay out of trouble, not break the law, and have them be a little bit mad at me than me break the law and then face criminal charges, which means you can go to jail, or civil charges, which means you can get sued. You don't want that to happen. So just make sure you say no. All right. So then the next difficulty that you will probably run into is the signer having questions that you can't answer. Now, guys, remember, as signing agents, it is our job to give a brief description of the documents, but it is not our job to explain every sentence of every document to the signer. We are not licensed lenders. We're not licensed loan officers. We're not licensed escrow officers. We're not attorneys. We are not licensed real estate agents. We cannot give explanations. We can give a brief description of what a document is. We can point out things that we see in the documents, but we cannot give explanations. So how do you handle it then when a signer has questions that you cannot answer? So guys, the first step is to get training and learn how to give a general description of the most common documents. Most signers have the same questions, right? And those questions can be easily answered in the most important documents. People want to know, what's my loan amount? What's my interest rate? What's my payment? When is my first payment due? Whose name is on the deed? Am I able to cancel this transaction? So I actually have a script where I go over the most important 5 documents in the package that answers these questions. These 5 documents, guys, answer 99% of the questions that signers have. If you are trained and you know how to give a description of those 5 documents, then you're going to already answer the most important questions that signers have. The other thing is you're going to need to get training and learn how to point out answers in the document. So let's say, for example, the signer says, hey, I want to make sure that my social security number is right in these documents. Do you know where to look? What documents in the package have the signer's social security number? If you're not well trained, if you don't know, then you're going to be flipping through 100, 200 pages trying to find it. Whereas I know right off the top of my head, there's several documents that show their social security number. Their loan application has their social security number on it. There's usually a form from the Social Security Administration that has their social security number on it. There's a couple of tax forms, the W-9 and the 4506T, that all have their social security number on it. I can flip to those documents in a few seconds to answer those questions. But again, that's because I'm trained. If you don't have training, it's going to take you and the signer a lot longer to find that information. The other thing you'll need to know is who to contact for particular questions. So most packages are made up of documents from the mortgage company. Some of the documents are from the title company, and some of the documents are from the attorneys. So if it's a question on a document that's from the mortgage company, then that generally means that the signer needs to reach out to their lender for an answer. If it's a title document, then the signer needs to reach out to the title company for an answer. So being able to tell the signer, hey, this is who you need to contact to get an answer to this question will help your signers get past that question and help you get over that difficulty quickly. And again, if you're new and if you have no clue who needs to be contacted, then your first step would be to contact the company that hired you. So that's most often going to be a signing company, title company, whoever hired you. That is always a safe first bet on who to contact to get assistance. Now, a couple of things I want to tell you guys not to do. So if you have a signer who's got questions that you can't answer, the first thing I want you to do is put yourself in their place. So you do not want to just shove papers in front of the signers and tell them, you know what, whatever, just sign it. Guys, that is so unprofessional. Think about yourself. If this was your house that you were buying or refinancing, if this was your mortgage, and we're talking 200, 300, 400, $500,000 or more mortgage, would you want somebody to not answer your questions, shove papers in front of you, and tell you to just sign it? No, you wouldn't be happy about that, and you would not feel comfortable with that. So that is so unprofessional, guys. You do not want to do that. You also don't want to just tell the signers, don't worry about it. You got 3 days to read over everything and cancel if you want to. Again, guys, that is not professional. Put yourself in that place. Would you want somebody to treat you like that? Or if you had questions, would you want to make sure that your questions are answered before you sign on the dotted line for that several $100,000 mortgage? And then again, the next thing you want to do, guys, do not get upset with the signers if they refuse to just sign. If they have questions or if they don't understand something and you're telling them to just sign and they don't want to just sign, don't get upset with them. That is absolutely their right. Again, what was my first step? Stay calm. Don't get agitated. Don't get frustrated. And don't get upset with signers if they don't want to just sign. All right, so another difficulty that you are going to run into are what I call super readers. Again, guys, mortgage packages are 100, 150, 200 pages or more of very, very tiny print. And you are going to run into signers who want to read everything. So how do you handle this? Again, guys, the first step is to get training and learn how to give a good general description of the most common documents in the package. So even when I run into super readers, when I give them that general description, after they've read a few forms and they're like, okay, this general description that she's giving me is basically what these forms are, I find that they don't want to read as much. They're reading initially because, they want to make sure they have an understanding of the transaction. But if they feel like the general description that you are giving them is accurate, then most super readers aren't going to read that much because the reality is nobody really wants to read all of that stuff. And again, guys, learning who to contact for certain questions is also super crucial. If the signer gets to something in one of these documents that you can't answer, knowing who they need to contact to get the correct answer will expedite that process and get you and the signers done with the process as quickly as possible. Now, if the signing is going to take longer than you are willing or able to stay at the signing, you need to contact the company that hired you and let them know. So, for example, I allot 1 hour for every one of my loan signings. Okay. It generally only takes me about 20 or 30 minutes to get through a signing, but I schedule 1 hour. If I run into a super reader who is literally reading every word on every page, it is going to take longer than an hour. And I simply, in my schedule, don't have the time to sit there while they're reading. So I contact the people who hired me and said, hey, here's the deal. The signer wants to read through every page of these documents. That's going to take longer than I have available. I am not going to be able to sit here while they read through the documents. And again, I always hear new people say, okay, but are the people going to get upset? They might. The hiring company may get upset. The signing company may get upset. The lender may get upset. The title company may get upset. The signers may get upset. But the industry standard is that a signing takes about an hour. So if you run into a signer who wants to read all of these documents and it's going to take 2, 3, or even 4 hours to get through that signing, you're not required to sit there. Now, the next question, though, of course, is, will I get paid? The answer to that is maybe. You might, and you might not. It really just depends on the company that hired you and what they do in those types of situations. So that is something that you're going to have to keep in mind. If you are unable or unwilling to sit there that entire time, you just have to understand that you may forfeit payment. I have done that on a couple of occasions. Again, I don't have super readers very often anymore. And again, this was more back in the beginning of my career when I didn't really know how to handle super readers, where I was just like, I don't have 4 hours to sit here while this person reads through all of these documents. And the company was like, okay, well, we're not going to pay you. And I was like, well, okay. Unfortunately, that is something that will occasionally happen. Most companies will pay you a trip fee. Many companies will ask, okay, we'll pay you the trip fee for going out. Are you willing to go back out later this afternoon after they've had a chance to read all of these documents? And then once you go back out, then they pay you your full fee. But again, you just have to realize they may get upset. If you are unwilling or unable to stay, then you may forfeit your payment. That's just the reality of being an independent contractor. And some things, again, not to do. Again, do not get upset. Do not get agitated with the signers. Stay calm. Do not give the signers ultimatums. Do not threaten them. If you don't sign all these documents right now, your loan's not going to close. Do not do that, guys. And again, do not let any of the parties, the hiring company, signing company, title company, lender, real estate agent, signer, any of those people, do not allow them to push you into staying if your schedule does not allow it or if you don't want to. All right. Another difficulty. Y'all are like, dang, how many difficulties are there? Another difficulty that you may run into are signers arguing. So you might have a husband and a wife. You may have two spouses. You may have a borrower and a co-borrower. And for whatever reason, they are not on the same page about this transaction and they start arguing, sometimes loudly. What do you do then? How do you handle it? So the first thing you're going to want to do is stay out of it, guys. Do not take sides. Do not try to be the referee. Don't try to figure out who's right or who's wrong. Zip it. Stay out of it. The next thing you're going to want to do is ask the signers to contact the appropriate party. If it's a problem with the loan amount, the payment, the interest rate, whatever, then they need to talk to the lender. If it's a question about something in the purchase contract, then they need to contact their real estate agent, so on and so forth. Ask the signers to contact the appropriate party and let that party try to referee and mediate in between those people. And then again, realize if the signers don't calm down or come to a resolution in a timely manner, leave. Contact the hiring company and let them know what's going on, but do not stay if you don't feel safe. I again have had a signing or two, where the husband and wife are literally just going at it. I had it one where they started throwing stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm out. I'm not sitting here for this. Guys, you do not have to sit through anything anywhere where you do not feel safe. Now, sometimes the signers may be angry or hostile, not at one another, but at some other stuff that's gone on during the transaction. I've had signers just literally be unhappy with their loan terms, or buyers unhappy with the terms of their purchase, or whatever. And then a lot of times, as signing agents, we may be the only person that they've really seen face to face. They may not have seen their lender face to face. They may not have seen anybody else face to face. So we're the first person that they see face to face. And they're angry and they want to take this anger out on someone. And since you are the person who has now shown up at their home, they get angry at you. So, how do you handle it, guys? So, again, don't place blame on any party. Don't blame the lender or the loan officer. Don't blame the real estate agent. Don't blame the builder salesperson. Don't blame anyone else. Stay neutral. Because the reality is you don't really know who's caused this issue, right? So just stay neutral, stay out of it. Again, ask the signers to contact the appropriate party. If they're mad about their payment, tell them to contact their loan officer. Mr. and Mrs. Signer, I am so sorry. I totally understand why you are frustrated. Unfortunately, I can't answer that question. Why don't you give your loan officer a call? They will be able to answer that question for you. Have them talk to the appropriate party. And again, if the signers do not calm down, or if you do not feel safe, leave. I'm going to keep pressing this into your heads, guys. Never stay anywhere where you do not feel safe. If you do not feel safe, leave. Contact the hiring company, let them know what's going on, but do not stay if you do not feel safe. So, segueing into that, another difficulty you may run into, the signing location is unsafe or unsanitary. So I did have a signing that I drove up to the location, and I literally did not feel safe getting out of my car. I called the signers. They didn't answer. I literally did not feel safe walking from my car to the front door of this particular location. So I was like, yeah, no, this is what we're not going to do. I'm not doing it. I've also had signings where the signers open the door and they have a really bad pest problem. We'll put it that way. Or it was a hoarder home to where it was one of those situations where it was almost like, stuff is stacked up to the ceilings. And to get into the home, you've got to walk through these narrow hallways of stuff. And that's where I was like, yeah, no, that's what we are not going to do. So again, how do you handle this? Never, ever, ever, ever go anywhere where you do not feel safe. Now, guys, let me put a caveat on that now. It needs to be reasonable. As a signing agent, your job is to meet people in their home or their office, that kind of stuff. So you can't just say, well, I don't feel safe going to people's homes. Then this isn't the right job for you. Okay. I'm just going to tell you that now. If you don't feel safe just going to the average person's home, then this is not the job for you. But there's a difference between the average person's home and a home where there are cockroaches this big running around. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about when I say don't stay anywhere where you don't feel safe. Contact the hiring company and tell them you do not feel safe. And then I give an alternate public signing location. So I'll Google, hey, there's a Starbucks, a mile away from here. There's a public library. There's a hotel where we can sit in the lobby somewhere else. I always give an alternative. So then they know it's not that I'm not willing to do the signing. It's just that the signing location is not somewhere where I feel safe. Now, if the hiring company or the signers are not willing to move the signing to an alternate location, then again, you just got to refuse to do the signing, guys. And you have to be willing to walk away. We are independent contractors as signing agents. We are not employees. The lender is not our boss. The title company is not our boss. The signing service is not our boss. None of these people can tell us what to do per se. Okay. We agree they contract us to complete a job. But again, if you feel unsafe, then don't do it. They cannot tell you, okay, I know you don't feel safe, but stay there anyway. No, that's what we're not going to do. You have the right to say no at any time if you feel unsafe. So guys, a lot of the different things that I've talked about, I've got information about it in some of the other videos that I've already done. How to explain loan documents. Again, guys, my script on the first 5 most important documents. Get it, download it, Learn it. I promise you, it is going to answer 99% of the questions that signers have. I have a video where I talk about whether or not you have to explain documents. It gives the difference between giving a description of the documents and explaining the documents. The basics of completing a notarization. Again, guys, a lot of times companies will ask you to do stuff that goes against your notary law. You need to learn the basics of completing a notarization so that you don't break the law. There's things that we're not allowed to say as signing agents. Watch that video. You don't want to get in trouble from saying something that you shouldn't have been saying. I also talk about some of the biggest mistakes that I've made as a signing agent. You don't want to make those mistakes, so make sure you check that video out. And I've got a video where I talk about proven ways to be a good signing agent. So guys, I encourage y'all to check out all of those videos. The information that you get in those videos, the training that you get in those videos is going to just help prepare you as a signing agent, especially if you are a new or an aspiring signing agent. It's going to prepare you for what's coming up. So when you run into a difficulty, it won't be a total surprise. You'll be like, I saw a video that Kendra did about that. I know how to handle this situation. And then, guys, of course, training is important. I know people love to say, you don't need to get any training. Watch a few YouTube videos and then just show up and get people to sign these documents. I promise you it ain't that easy. You really need to get training, guys. It's going to do a couple of things. It's going to make the signing easier for your signers, and it's going to make the signings easier for you. I have so many people say, Kendra, how do you get a signing done in 20 minutes or in 30 minutes? Because I'm well trained, because I know how to describe these documents to signers, because I know what the most common errors are. I know how to prep these documents to make the signing go smoothly. And those are all things that I teach you in my training, and I teach you much, much, much more. So think about this, guys. If you're able to do a signing in 30 minutes, versus a signing taking you an hour and 30 minutes, that means you can do more signings per day. And the more signings you can do in a day, the more money you will make. Because I already know that's the reason why you want to be a signing agent. You want to make money. You want to make the thousands of dollars that you see can be made as a signing agent. And the way that you do that is to be well trained so that you can do as many signings as possible in a day, and so that you can do those signings quickly and efficiently and without errors. All right, guys. Woo! Lots of stuff going on there talking about difficult loan signings. But of course, like I said, at the end, I always have a Q&A session for you guys, question and answer. Do you guys have any questions about difficult loan signings? Have y'all had any difficult situations happen recently and you want to find out from me maybe how I would have handled it? Or have you had difficult loan signings happen and do you want to tell us how you handled it? Do you have any questions about any of the things that I went over in this video? Go ahead. Now is the time to type those in the Q&A section, the chat section or the comment section. Let me close that up and see if we've got any questions here. So Anitra says, please address difficulties with real estate agents during loan signing. So specifically, what difficulties are you having? I find with real estate agents, some of them come in and they tend to be pushy. And that may be what you're talking about. The real estate agents come in, they tend to be pushy. They kind of want to take over the signing. They want to point stuff out, or they want to talk through the signing and all this kind of stuff. If that's what you're talking about, the best way to handle that is to be prepared and be able to give a good description of the document. So here's the reason why a lot of real estate agents tend to be difficult during signings. You have to realize they have put in a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort to get these signers to this point to purchase. Real estate agents don't make any money until the transaction closes, and they often spend a lot of time and money to get the transaction there. And then, unfortunately, what also has happened is there are a lot of untrained signing agents out there. So, like I said, the signing agents that just want to push papers in front of people and say, well, I can't explain nothing, I can't describe nothing, just sign here. So now a lot of real estate agents are really leery of signing agents. They really don't like signing agents because a lot of signing agents don't do a good job. And so they want to make sure that their transaction closes. So they want to, basically take over because they don't trust that you can do the job right. What I found is that first, by remaining calm, again, that is always step one, stay calm. By remaining calm and by going through the process the way I go through the process, I have a system. It is extremely clear to them from the very first document that I know what I'm talking about. It is very clear to them from the very beginning that I know what I'm doing. And usually, once we get to about the third document and they go, okay, this signing agent is good. This signing agent knows how to describe these documents to my buyers. This signing agent is not going to say something that is going to upset my buyers. When they see that, they tend to sit back because trust me, they don't want to do your job. Okay. They're tired. They've done their job. They don't want to do your job too. But they're pushy because a lot of other signing agents have been bad. So the best way to deal with difficult signing agents is to remain calm and then to be a very good signing agent. Because here's the deal. If you're not a good signing agent, I don't blame them. You're messing with their money if you're not a good signing agent, okay? But if you are a good signing agent, if you are able to give a good description, especially of those first 5 documents, if you are able to clearly and calmly point out the information to their signers, they are going to sit back and let you do your job. The other little trick that I do is I also compliment the real estate agent. It's kind of hard to be mad at somebody when they're telling you how awesome you are. So if they do tend to be a little pushy or try to say stuff here and there, I may make a comment like, oh my gosh, you guys have such an awesome real estate agent. They are here at your closing and they are making sure that everything has been done right for you. When you kind of give them that affirmation and when you let them know, hey, we're not enemies. I see that you're just doing your job. They also tend to calm down a little bit. But again, the best way to deal with pushy real estate agents is to be very good at your job. Good question. All right, next question. Can you let the signers know they will only have an hour to sign the documents? No, because they don't have only an hour to sign the documents. You are only willing to stay for an hour, but there is no cutoff time on how long the signers have to sign these documents. This is where I'm saying, guys, you cannot push these signers to do things because it's convenient for you. Now, what you can tell the signers is, I only have an hour to be here. And if the signer is a super reader or if it's going to take longer than an hour, then something else has to be worked out. Again, this may be where if you only have an hour, then you may have to be willing to leave and get paid a portion or not get paid at all. But no, you absolutely cannot tell the signers that they only have an hour because they don't only have an hour. It's their loan. They have as much time as they want and they need to sign these documents. Again, put yourself in this situation. If this was your mortgage, if you were signing for a $500,000 loan, you would not want a signing agent coming in and saying, you need to hurry up and sign because we only have an hour for this. You can't do that. So again, what I do, so like let's say if you do have a super reader, or if you do have someone where it's going to take longer than an hour, what's the first step? Always stay calm. Stay calm and calmly let them know, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Signer. And again, you may even compliment them a little bit because people like compliments. You guys are being so thorough with your documents. That's awesome. However, I do have another signing and I'm going to have to leave at such and such a time. Now, some signers, that'll be enough. And they'll go, oh, and because they may not realize that you don't have unlimited time to just sit there with them. And they may start picking up on their own accord. Other signers will be like, okay, well, I don't care. Leave if you got to leave. And again, if you cannot stay for the rest of that time, you need to contact the hiring company and something will be worked out. Either you'll agree to come back later or they'll agree to send another notary out. And again, what you get paid will have to be agreed between you and that hiring company. But To answer your question in general, can you tell the signers they only have an hour? No, you absolutely cannot. Those signers can take as much time as they want. But again, good training, being able to describe the documents well, being able to point out things in the documents is what makes your signing go quicker and easier. Again, even with super readers anymore, I cannot even remember the last signing I had that took an hour. Just because I'm able to give the signers a really good description of the documents, and I'm able to, when they have questions, 99% of their questions, I'm able to point the answers out in the document. So if you are able to do that, even with super readers, you'll usually be able to get done within an hour. And if you're not, then that just means you need some more training and you need some more practice. All right. Leslie wants to know, what do you do if you haven't been paid by the signing agent? Their phone doesn't work and they are not responding to emails 69 days late. So I actually have a whole video about how signing agents get paid and what to do if you don't get paid. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is you may not get paid. It sucks. You always want to do your research ahead of time on every company. So let's say, for example, I get a call from a new company that I've never worked with before. I'll go ahead and accept the signing, but as soon as I accept it, I start doing my research on this company. I Google, I'll go on Notary Cafe's forums, I'll go into some of the other signing agent groups, and I'll see what other signing agents have had to say about this company. And if I find in my research that other signing agents are saying that this company doesn't pay, I immediately contact them and say, you know what? I've done my research on you. Unfortunately, it looks like you don't pay people. So I'm not going to be able to complete the signing. So your first step to avoid not getting paid is always going to be to do your research ahead of time to see if it's a company that's problematic when it comes to paying. Now, if you've already done the signing and the company is not responding to you, unfortunately, there's really not much you can do. You can file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau, all that is, it's basically a note. The Better Business Bureau is not going to do anything to help you get paid. You can take them to small claims court, but keep in mind, small claims court is not free. So you actually have to pay to take them to court. And then even if you win, you don't win money. You win a judgment where a judge basically says, yep, these people owe you money. And you have a judgment against them. But even when you have a judgment against somebody, they still have to decide whether or not they're going to pay you. So, if it's one signing or two signings, if it's $100, $200, $300, unfortunately, sometimes you just have to take a loss. You do want to get with your accountant, though, because sometimes there are ways to count that off of your taxes. So you get a little bit of a tax benefit from it. But unfortunately, the reality is you may not get paid. So always, always, always do your research ahead of time. We got another question. How can I find a company who needs a signing agent? Guess what? I got a video about that. I got a video about everything, guys. I promise you I do. So there's different ways that we get business as signing agents. One of the ways that new signing agents tend to do the most is to get business through signing services or platforms. So signing services are just middlemen. All signing services do is they find like title companies who will need signings done for them. The title company then says, hey, signing service, I need a notary this place, this day, this time. The signing service then finds the notary and sends them out. So you can sign up with signing services so that if they have signings in your area, you may be the notary that is contacted to do that signing. There are also signing platforms. The most common one that most people know about now is SnapDocs. All that is a bunch of signing services are using this one platform. So when you put your information in, now a bunch of signing services have your information. And again, when there's a signing in your area, they may reach out to you to do that signing. You can also get what's called direct business. And this is what I always suggest to people. You can go directly to title companies, lenders, builders, real estate agents, and tell them, hey, when you have a signing, I want to be the person that you contact for that signing. Now, it takes more time and effort to get direct business, but you can make more money with direct business because There's no middleman. There's no signing service. So there's lots of different ways to get business. Definitely make sure that you look through my videos. Like I said, I have a video where I talk to you about the difference between signing services, databases, platforms, direct business, all of that good stuff. And then, of course, in my training, I help my students. I teach them how to get direct business. And then I also provide them with a list of signing services that they can sign up with to get business. Let's see. What course of action would I take if the signer unexpectedly changes the location at the 11th hour? So the first thing to decide is, can you still do it? Can you still do it? And are you willing to do it? So I live here in San Antonio. Let's say I had something scheduled with somebody, and they were going to be 20 minutes away from me. But now all of a sudden they want to change it. And now the signing's in Austin, which is an hour away from me. I ain't going to Austin to do that signing. So the first step you need to figure out is, am I still able to do this signing? Am I still willing to do this signing? That's step one. If you are, then you need to determine, will I be able to get there at the same time? Is it now going to push me back a little bit? So I'm still willing to do it, but initially I was supposed to meet with them on the west side of town. Now I got to meet them on the east side of town. So I'm not going to get there on time. I'll let the signer know, okay, I can do it, but I'm going to be 15 minutes late, or I'm going to be 20 minutes late. Also, if the new location that they want you to meet them at is much further away, you're still willing to go, but it is much further away, and you want additional money for that additional distance, then you need to contact the hiring company. You need to contact the company that hired you and say, hey, this signer wants to change the signing location. I am available, but it's about, 20 miles further than we had initially agreed upon. So my new fee with this additional distance is going to be whatever your new fee is. Now, keep in mind, the signing service may accept that. They may not. They may say, you know what, we're just going to find another signing agent who won't charge that fee, who maybe lives closer. Again, this is just the nature of business. Signing services are in the business to make money. All of these companies are in the business to make money. So, if the location gets changed and you're not able to do it at the same time or for the same amount of money, they may just say, hey, we're just going to find another signing agent, and you'll lose the signing. That's just the reality of business. But one of the things I want to tell you guys, going along that vein, whether you lose the signing because of like a last minute location change, or because you tell somebody, no, I'm not going to break the law, or whatever happens, especially when you're new, it feels like the end of the world. I know it. But guys, it's just the reality of the business. Every signing request that you get is not going to close. Things are going to happen, and sometimes it's outside of your control. That every signing that you had that you thought you were going to close is not going to close. So again, I know when you're new, it hurts a lot and you take it personal. I don't take it personal no more. If I have a signing on my books and for whatever reason something happens and I'm not able to do it or whatever, I'm like, okay, no worries. And I don't even think about it anymore, because I promise you guys, there is another signing coming. It is not the end of the world. All righty, guys. Oh, hold on. There was another question here. Arlette wants to know, should she connect with realtors and realtor companies? You need to connect with anybody who is related to the mortgage and real estate industry. Anybody who could possibly give you business or connect you with business. Yes, you need to connect with them. And again, what to say to direct business clients, how to find these people, all of that good stuff is something that I teach my students in my Signing Agent Advanced training program. But yes, you need to try to connect with anybody who could possibly give you signing business. I'm going to scroll up real quick, but I think I hit all of the questions. Again, guys, even if you are watching this on the replay, if you do have any questions, put it in the comment section. I will do my best to answer all of those questions. And again, guys, I should be back next month, second weekend of August, to do another YouTube live. Another thing I want you guys to put down in the comments, if you guys have any particular subjects that you want to go over in any of my YouTube lives, make sure that you put it in the comments. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Please go out, have a fabulous day, do lots of signings, have a productive and profitable day. And guys, I will see y'all next month. Have a good one. Bye-bye.